Hi guys, so what you're about to see is my record of what my lockdown was for the first 60 days. I live here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I am working for an international bank. My office is here in Kuala Lumpur. That's my day job. But on the weekends, I help out my husband, who owns a cafe and a coffee plantation on the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur in an area called Jandabai. I live here in KL with my mother, who is 75 years old, who has Alzheimer. And during lockdown, I've been here most of the time with her, while my husband had to stay back in Jandabai. Now we live about half an hour apart from each other. Jandabai is in a completely different state, which is the state of Pahang, and therefore for the first 50 days of the lockdown, we were not able to see each other because we couldn't travel between KL and Jandabai. So what you're going to see, and I think why it is important for me to kind of make sure I have this record on hand, is because we are currently entering what is called the recovery phase of the lockdown. There's been a lot of restrictions have been eased, but I think once you get through that and you've gone through so many days of being in a lockdown and you're getting used to a new normal, you tend to look back in kind of relief and romanticize of what was going on. Sometimes we forget what we have actually gone through, and I thought it was very important for me to record things as it happened so that when I look back I can actually see what the lockdown really was like for me. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Morning guys, it's day one of the restricted movement order here in Malaysia. It had been a very chaotic day yesterday. There was so many confusion, so many miscommunications. You know, Eddie is still in Jandabai and I am here in KL. I have to be here to take care of my mom as well as working from home. However, last night there was this big announcement suddenly, which I think has already been rescinded, about interstate traveling. I think the idea is really to not encourage people to balik kampung, but it was done so badly and it was done so poorly. There's a possibility that I will not be able to see Eddie. It's anxious times. It's difficult times at the moment, so much confusion. I think the decision to put us on a restriction movement order was the right one, but the execution and the communication and the educating people on why this needs to be done is just really badly done. They did not anticipate the unintended consequences of all of these decisions. You know, it resulted in people panic buying. It resulted in people congregating unnecessarily at so many places where, when people are supposed to be staying put where they are, working on your bed is really not the most ideal situation. And I wish, you know, I do have a proper working space. However, I found that this working here on my bed is the best option for me at the moment with the limited resources that I have around the place. I am in my own room. I can lock the door. I don't get distracted. I have my personal computer where I am tracking and monitoring the news that's going around at the moment, because part of my job as well is to kind of update my company globally as to what the situation is on the ground here, how it may or may not impact our business, and how it may or may not impact our clients. And then I have my work computer also here. That's where we get our emails, where we submit our work. I am connected to the network, is connected to the work or the office network in a secure manner, of course, so that any work that that's being done gets immediately backed up into the office server. I have all my phone equipment. My phone is connected to our Jabber, WebEx, and all of those things. And then you realize at the end of the day, all of this, all of this works if we have a fast enough internet connection, which thankfully we do, and at the moment everything seems to be working well. So the time now is 4:55 p.m. and it's raining super heavily outside. Still day one, guys. Hi guys. So I think this is one of the reasons why they say do not sleep where you work, because it's just so easy to lay your head down. I'm also waiting for the numbers to come out of the Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, KKM, to see what are the numbers looking like for the new infections for today. Yesterday I've been trying to keep in touch with all of our part-timers back in Janda Baik to see if they're doing okay, how they are doing, because obviously, when the cafe is closed, they don't have any source of income at this moment, and don't work at Pinto as a means to help their families. And I think a lot of them are actually, if this thing continues, I mean, for the next 2 weeks, all of them are saying the same thing. In the next 2 weeks they're fine, but hopefully it's not going to continue, because if it is continuing, then the entire family will not have any source of income. So we're trying to keep, Eddie and I are trying to keep track with all of them and seeing if there's any way we can help them, as long as they can have food. The most important thing is they're able to feed themselves, they have food, then they can stay at home. March 21st, day 4, restricted movement order. I'm having lunch with my mom. I think day by day the news that's coming out from the Ministry of Health is very grim, and I am kind of mentally prepared for an extension of this MCO. The worst part, I think, is day by day we are seeing more and more, and continuing examples of incompetence from people in authority, the government. Really, we've had almost a week of this MCO, and you would hope and you would wish that there's some sort of coordination, some sort of a semblance of competence, that you know what you're doing. A minister says something else and another minister says different things. It's just so incompetent. Hi guys, 24th of March, Tuesday, and we just had some guy from Lazada drop this off in front of our apartment. I'm just gonna let it air here for a while. I believe these are the cleaning supplies that I ordered. Today is the 1st of April, and the first 2 weeks of the movement control order has passed, and there's 2 more weeks to go. And in the second phase of the MCO, there will be some stricter implementations that has already been announced. So a bunch of road closures, 1 person in a car rule, etc. I haven't actually been out of the house apart from going to the small shop downstairs to get some basic necessities. So I think I'm gonna need to do some grocery shopping today, and this will be my first time going out. That's the plan, at least. My first time going out during this MCO. So far I haven't had, any cabin fever or anything like that, but I really do miss Janda Baik. I really do miss Eddie and Snow. We've been on the phone almost every day. Well, every day. We've been on FaceTime almost every day, but it's been a month. It will be a month the next time I see him, if this MCO ends on the 14th of April as they initially announced that it will. I am back at home from doing my grocery run this morning. It's the first time I was out and about in the 2 weeks of movement control order. So it's kind of getting to drive again and getting out of the house. It was a very, very different feeling. But I've just taken delivery of this vegetable box which I ordered on Lazada from Cameron Farmers. This is one of those things which was an initiative taken by Lazada, if I am not mistaken, during this MCO, because of the news that there were a lot of vegetables that had to be thrown away. Today is the 8th of April 2020. I'm pretty sure though that at least for KL and Selangor we will continue to be under lockdown for a couple of weeks yet. But anyways, today is a Wednesday. The manager at Pinto and myself today will be organizing a couple of video conferences with our part-timers, just to see how they're doing, to see if they're facing any difficulties during this MCO, and also just to keep in touch with everyone and to see if everyone's doing well. And I'm sure they will have a lot of questions to ask Eddie and myself as well, how the business plans to go ahead, how we're doing. Good morning, guys. Today is the 12th of April. Trying to be as positive as always, but you know what, guys, here's what I know. There are times when no matter how positive you try to be, you're going to be defeated. Your mind plays this game with you and you feel sorry for yourself and you start crying in the shower and thinking about why you're the one who's going through all of this pain and anxiety. And it's okay. It's okay to be defeated, and it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel all of these emotions, but keep it in check and know that you're not alone. Tomorrow was supposed to be the last day of the movement control order for our lockdown here in Malaysia, but a couple of days ago the government has announced that it will be extended, so we actually have 2 additional weeks of this to go up until the end of April, which also leads us to the beginning of the fasting month. Now, well, it's been a month of the lockdown, so a month of me not having seen Eddie and Snow, not having gone back to Chantupai. Now, that's very frustrating, and it's a little bit disappointing, but again, like I said, it's our obligation. We gotta do what we gotta do, which is fine. However, it gets even more frustrating sometimes when you see the leadership, people at the top of our government not actually practicing what they are preaching. So for example, yesterday we saw that an MP had gone back to his constituency back in Kelantan, which is like in a different state altogether, to visit, and that certainly it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, especially people who have been separated from their family. And this is part of the sacrifice that we've had to make, and we're doing it, but you guys should do it as well. So today is the 18th of April. literally 1 full month since the beginning of the movement control order. I have been here at my home for 1 whole month. I've only been outside of this apartment complex twice in that whole time to go to the supermarket. I think I have tried very hard to be very compliant with the control order. There are a lot of people who are not following the rules of social distancing, the rules set by the movement control order. And what's worse is that a lot of these people are, you know, the people in government, the Menteri Besars, the health ministry, deputy health minister. I mean, you know, what kind of level of intelligence do you need to have to show that you are actually non-complying? But the people who should not be flouting the order are the people in government. Now, I'm ranting this morning because it's been a month. I'm doing my part. But you gotta get your act together, people. The people in government, you need to get your act together. I've also decided to do a little bit of aubergine grilled, and then now I'm going to mix together all these items for my potato salad. That's what my simple dinner is looking like. That's the potato salad, that's the meatballs, beef balls, and a little bit of grilled aubergines. There are days during this lockdown when you wake up and you just feel horrible. You know, suddenly it becomes really tough, and you start feeling sorry for yourself. I have been cooped up alone, well, in this house with my mom. I miss my husband. We haven't seen each other for about a month. I haven't seen my cat. I haven't been back to Jennifer. It's not easy. I don't get this feeling every day. I don't. Honestly, I tell you. I try to keep positive as much as I can. But the thing is, sometimes you need to give yourself the time to feel what you need to feel. You have to go through the emotions, and it's okay. It's okay to feel terrible. So today is the 21st of April. It is a Tuesday. I don't know how many days we have already been in lockdown, but I did something really bad. I'm gonna flip you over and show you what I did. At this website, Eat Cake Today, and I've tried this before. This is from Huckleberry. It is the kitty cupcake, but because they are only available on this website, they will only do the delivery if you order a dozen of these kitty cupcakes. They're not super kitty. I mean, they're not very tiny. This is a pretty significantly sized cupcake, so I will make sure I can ration them out. I will try to, as much as possible, freeze some of them, put some of them in the fridge, and leave some of them out, ready to be eaten. Good morning, guys. Today is Wednesday. I think today is the 22nd of April, and I realized that fasting month is actually starting this coming Friday. So I'm waiting for the nurse to take care of my mom to come in today, and I plan to do a little bit more grocery shopping just to top up some of the things that I have bought last Wednesday. So just a little bit more to tide us through for the first few days of Ramadan. I did have a little bit of cough this morning. I woke up with a bit of a sniffle, but I did check. I have no temperature. I was chatting with my friend who was in the US last night, she feels the same way. She gets freaked out every time she feels a little bit weak, every time she feels, you know, a cough is coming or a sniffle is coming and she's sneezing. I think it's a worry and it's a concern for all of us. I'm looking at the scary winds outside. Yeah, it's pretty surreal. These are the kind of things that I never really noticed before living here. I come home from the office, and during those times, normally, you know, I'm in my room switching on the aircon. I don't open the windows, I don't open the curtains, I don't see what's going on outside. And as it is right now, when the windows are shut, you can't really hear the winds and the rain. But I don't know if you can hear that. That was the thunder. Today is Thursday, which is the 23rd of April. But since I have some time now before we start work, I have decided to do a little bit of pampering for my mom. Hi guys, so today is the 24th of April, that's a Friday, and today is the first day of the Ramadan. Hello everyone, today is the second day of Ramadan. It is Saturday. So Ramadan so far has started uneventful for me. I've been at home. Other than that, you know, it's quite lonely. Not going through Ramadan with, you know, my husband, the rest of my family, and my friends. Today is the 26th of April. It is a Sunday. I can't remember, I think this is probably the 5th weekend that I've been spending here in KL under lockdown. And weekends I find is the toughest time. So what I've been doing over this past few weeks is I've been doing a lot of online window shopping. The first thing that I must remember is that whenever I search online, whenever I surf any of the shopping websites, I will never click buy on the first go. So for me, that whole time between when I put something on my shopping cart and the time when I actually click buy, that period of time of thinking and mulling things through and reflecting everything is very helpful. More often than not, I will decide that, you know what, I don't really need any of these things. Good morning guys, today is Tuesday the 28th of April. It's looking pretty gloomy outside. It's a very gloomy morning. I got a message from my brother who was on his way to the hospital because he had some sharp pain on his lower abdomen, and he suspects it could be appendicitis, but he is in the hospital at the moment and going through a checkup. They're gonna run some tests on him. He's there alone, of course, because I think, you know, you can't kind of travel more than one person in a car, and you know, they're just not sure how people are gonna get through the roadblocks and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty scary when you think about it. However, I hope that, you know, it's nothing serious, and I hope that he will feel better soon. you know, it's horrible timing to be needing to go to a hospital at a time like this. This is like the third time that I've come here, and I think this is the time when I really see that generally there's a lack, or people are starting to no longer respect the social distancing. I just feel that there's definitely sense that at the moment things are slightly, people are taking their guard off in this whole social distancing concept. Big news yesterday, the government announced that there will be a relaxation of the movement control order effective on Monday. A lot of things happened yesterday, a lot of things happened in the last couple of days. Really big stuff, including some confusion. Many believe Bank Negara sort of had a reversal or U-turn when announcing the terms or the procedures of the moratorium. The government also announced that starting on Monday there will be relaxation for many economic sectors in terms of being able to go back to business and being able to go back to work. However, there are certain other things like interstate travel is not allowed, but interstate travel is not allowed unless you're going to work. So I'm thinking that with this relaxation I would probably be able to go to Pinto on weekend. Eddie has already sort of like, you know, been making preparations even beforehand, before we knew what the SOP was, or you know, whether relaxation was going to be anytime soon. He had already ordered, you know, hand sanitizers, masks, gloves, all sorts of disinfectants, a gun thermometer. So I think you know, if we are able to open up, we would be able to open up quite quickly. Pinto would. We would definitely need to reach a point in time when we have to go back to some form of normalcy. It is the new normal, that whole idea. And I have mentioned about how I think that the government needs to socialize the idea about what the new normal means, and I don't think they've done a great job at that just yet. People are going to be impacted. If businesses imagine that they're going to go, like if F&B business is going to go back and expecting a 50% kind of revenue compared to what they had before, they're going to have to start rethinking and recalibrating their whole business model. Is it worth it completely? I think a gradual easing was expected. However, announcing it on the 1st of May, expecting the implementation on the 4th of May, it just to me doesn't make sense. I would have thought it would be better to announce it on the 1st of May, but say, you know, this MCO phase 4 was supposed to end on the 12th of May anyways. I have just picked up laundry. I did check with the laundry how business was doing this past couple of weeks during MCO, and they only just reopened, I think, a couple of weeks ago with the 3rd phase of the MCO, I believe. And she was saying that business was really bad, that they probably had only 10% of the usual volume. A couple of weeks ago I saw on Twitter there was a number of friends of mine who recommended Harum Manis mangoes from Perlis. Apparently it's in season at the moment, so I saw them on Twitter and I had a craving for these mangoes, and I went online to find a supplier and managed to find one. So this arrived yesterday. I think I find that over the course of this lockdown I've become quite efficient at cooking, especially, you know, once you sort of get into the mode of clean as you cook. then you realize that the toughest part about cooking, which is the preparing and the cleaning up, you know, you sort of get that all sorted out while you're in the process of cooking. And I've gotten quite efficient at that, my cooking time, actually, the preparing, the cleaning and everything, doesn't take as long as, you know, you would people would expect, because I hear some people saying that it takes them hours sometimes to prepare food, to cook, because, you know, they take into account all the prep time and the cleaning time afterwards, which is the bit that's, you know, the toughest. But I think if you get into the whole mode of you clean as you cook and put away all the stuff as you are cooking, then it becomes a lot more a lot less tedious, I think, the whole cooking process. So since I had some time today, I decided to do some home improvements. One of the items that I bought on Lazada was this organizer. It's a bathroom organizer. It is plastic, but it didn't require any drilling in order to put it together. So it's a set. It's a, you know, toothpaste organizer sort of thing, and it comes with this cup. It has a magnetic bottom and it just sticks together, and then it also comes with a toothpaste dispenser, which is super useful. This is also purchased on Lazada. Again, it's one of those things which requires no drilling. You just sort of make sure that it aligns, and then there is a sticker item that comes with it. Good morning, guys. So today is the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. And today is the first day of the so-called conditional MCO. However, I am still at home. I'm still working from home, and my company has decided that we will take a very gradual and phased approach to going back to offices, etc. So still status quo for me for the time being. Interstate travel is still prohibited, and as a result of that, Pinto, my husband, and the team at Pinto have decided that they will also hold off opening up the cafe. Now I am hoping that over the weekend, because we are still preparing to reopen the cafe, that I will be able to go back to Jandabait. Although interstate travel is prohibited, but for purposes of work, I believe that is allowable. It's working from home as usual for me. At 12 o'clock, I am expecting a cake delivery. At 2 p.m. there is a conference call that I will be attending as part of work, and that would be my Monday. Today is the 6th of May. It has been 50 days that I have been away from Jandabait. I haven't been going back to Jandabait at all. The cafe is still not open because I haven't been able to be back yet. I have here with me in KL all the supplies that is required in order for Pinto to comply with the new SOPs for opening up cafes and restaurants. I have the face masks, I have the gun thermometer and all of those things, which needs to be sent back to Jandabait. So I'm gonna give it a try, but it's causing me a lot of anxiety because I am getting so many mixed messages from all over. So there has been a number of confusion with regards to this interstate travel, because from what I understand, if you're traveling for work, you should be able to travel interstate. However, there's this whole thing about filling up an app as well, and it's become a requirement. The app is called Gerak Malaysia, and you're supposed to generate a QR code to get an approval of some sort. So because of this whole confusion, whether or not you still need to report on Gerak Malaysia if you are traveling for work. I don't know if it's a necessity, but I did it anyways. I gave it a try. And here's the thing, you fill up all the information and then it says, oh, your application has been approved, and then generate a QR code, and the QR code says that I'm supposed to travel now. Isn't that mad? Guys, the mystery is never ending. Today at 3 p.m, the police made a statement to say that you need to get the approval and a QR code will be generated on your app. A QR code will be generated for you to show and for you to be able to continue your interstate travel. And then just at 10 o'clock I saw a statement that has been released to say that if you cannot generate a QR code, do not worry, a QR code will not be generated. And it's telling people you do not need to go to the police station to get your manual approval or whatever. You have already submitted your application. That's the end of the process. That's what it says on the Gerak Malaysia Twitter account. That's what I just read, and that's just at 10 p.m. so I'm not sure what on earth is going on. There's so much confusion. It seems to me like the app is kind of faulty. When I woke up this morning and checked the app, the Gerak Malaysia app, which generated the QR code for the interstate travel, I saw that there was no QR code anymore. As I said, when I filled up the information yesterday, it generated a QR code and it said that the travel time was for yesterday. So I inputted the information again and it generated a new QR code with an approval, and that's for travel today. So I'm assuming that this app, for some reason, it only allows you to generate the QR code on the day itself. Good morning, guys. So the time now is 5:30. We have just woken up for our sahur here in Jandabai. It's very quiet here. Many of the food establishments have not yet reopened, so I spent almost all of yesterday looking at what are the new SOPs that we will need to establish in order to be able to reopen the cafe, not only complying with the SOP but in a safe and secure manner for our staff as well as for our customers. I think it will take us a while yet. Today we'll do a bit more of those preparatory works, trying to list down things that we will need to acquire, and think about the timeline as to when will we be able to be ready for operations. It's a very welcome change of scenery for me. To be back among the greens and breathing in the fresh air, not being confined by the four walls in my apartment. It's pretty amazing. And of course, you know, getting to meet Eddie and Snowy again. This is what I have been missing the most during this lockdown, because the thing I love most about being in Gandabai is this compound, right? Because it's a big compound and you can walk around and there's no one else to see for miles, right? And it's fresh air. Yeah, look at that, guys. How beautiful is this view? Hi guys, so I'm not sure if you can hear and can see, but it is raining here. So today is the 9th of May, it's a Saturday. I'm heading back to KL tonight. It's only been a couple of nights, my time here in Gandabai, but I'm grateful for it. It also gives me an opportunity to really see how small businesses, are going to have to not only adapt but trying to survive this very trying times. Helping Eddie out with a lot of the administrative things to be done with regards to Pinto Coffee has been such an eye-opener. And it really makes me learn about, how policy that is not well thought out, how it can impact businesses like this. And I know we're not the only one. This kind of business is a major employer. But not only does it provide livelihood for a lot of people. But it was a way of life, so a lot of that is going to change now. But I think the government has a function, has a role alongside all of us to really try to make the situation better, to make it work, to help us weather the storm. During lockdown, this little adorable one is the one I miss the most. I miss you the most, little Snow. Hello, Snow. Hello, Snowy. The announcement was made today by the Prime Minister that the conditional MCO, meaning that the slightly relaxed version of the movement control order, will be extended until the 9th of June, so 4 more weeks. However, there has been a number of sort of easing or relaxations on top of the easing that had already taken place with the conditional MCO when it was announced. And specifically, I wasn't listening to all of the details. All I do know was that they were still saying that interstate travel was not allowed. However, specific cases where husband and wife are working in different states, they will be allowed to undertake interstate travel, to be together at least. So that is something that works particularly well in the case of myself and Eddie. Time now is 10:25 and it is a Wednesday morning. I'm in my car heading out to do my once a week grocery shopping. So the nurse has just arrived and she will be staying with my mom for today, which gives me time to run my errands. I'm going to head off to KLCC now. shopping is no longer a relaxing or a distracting thing. It's no longer a de-stressing activity as it was before coronavirus, before COVID-19, because, you know, what with the risk, you know, the mask that you have to wear. I mean, I wear gloves, and then on top of that, you know, they're taking your temperature. You're gonna have to leave your phone number and your details before you go in. It's becoming one of those activities where you don't want to do it unless you absolutely have to. So today the plan is for Eddie to try to make his way back here this weekend. He needed a change of air. He was going a little bit crazy back in Jandabai. I mean, you know, it is fresh air, it's nice green, but you know, I think if that's all you were facing, and if that was all that you were doing, surrounded by ducks and cats, and you know, on a daily basis, you will go a little bit crazy. So we thought that since we had someone who was able to come in and stay and look after Pinto while Eddie was back here in KL, that it would be an opportunity, since it is allowed, for him to come home. Hi guys, we are now in a shopping mall. I know we're doing social distancing, but we haven't seen each other for such a long time, so this is our entertainment, and it's Eddie's first time in a city mall after 60 plus days. Yeah. We're still trying to avoid the crowd, so we're here super early in the morning. So it is Sunday. It is about 4:30 p.m. and Eddie has just left. I'm smiling because thankfully Eddie has passed the roadblock, so I'm so glad that that's fine, that he's able to go back to Jandabai. He's already arrived actually. He's with Snowy and the ducks,